So I was actually asked a question in one of my videos, and then the commenter actually deleted the comment. But the question that was asked, I mean, it touched me so deep because it's something I can definitely relate to. The commenter asked, how smart do you have to be a software engineer? Now, the reason that this is so personal for me is because all my life I've had people try to discourage me from doing things that I wanted to do. And they would tell me, hey, I wasn't smart enough. Maybe I should just stick to sports, something physical. But anything that I had to use my mind, people often discouraged me. And this has been happening since I was about 9 years old. So I'm going to give you guys my history, and then I'm also going to provide you information on why you should pursue to be a software engineer if you want to, and why you should pursue to do anything you want to do. All right? So keep watching. All right, so I'm going to give you my opinion when it comes to intelligence. And the way that we see intelligence in the Western world, I mean, honestly, I think is bullshit. There's a lot more to intelligence than just a letter grade that you get in school. When we come onto this planet, we all come in this planet with our own strengths and with our own weaknesses. Now, but just because we have strengths in a specific area doesn't mean we'll continue to get better in that area, and it doesn't mean that we'll get worse in that area. It just means that we have a certain strength in this specific niche. Now, what our society does is it tries to say, okay, because this kid has this grade, this kid has this level of intelligence. Or because this kid has this grade, this kid's intelligence must be lower. But it's really not true. What is that? Some people, they just have a better memory when it comes to specific fields. I know those of you who are in high school or maybe in college, you've known people who can party, who can smoke, who can drink. But if they read that book, I want to say an hour before the class starts, they can get an A. That's just where their strength is at. Also, you can do the same thing with athletics. There's people who are new growing up who are just way better athletes than me, who had like a bodybuilder physique at like 12 years old, and I really didn't even start getting really fit until like my late 20s, and I've been working out for a while. Some things happen faster for some people than they do for others. The problem is that we have a competitive culture. We shouldn't be competing against each other. We should be creating together. We should be learning from each other. There's a reason that we all have our own strengths and our own weaknesses. It's so that we can teach each other and learn from each other. I've had friends who have had 4.0s, 3.8s, and you would think that they'll be the next president, the next great politician, the next great businessman, or whatever. You would think that they would have some level of success in their life. But oftentimes that's not the case. Most people actually that I've met that actually have had like a GPA of a 4.0, they usually have poor social skills. Just because you have 4.0 doesn't mean that you can build a successful business. Sometimes you might have somebody that has better people skills than you. They may be able to read people better than you, and you guys can come together and actually build that business. I know when I turned about 9 years old, that's when it really just all changed for me. I went to Willow Oaks Elementary, and I had a teacher named Mr. Turner. I remember I turned in one of my exams. I was the first person to turn in my exam. And he was like, sit back down. You're too stupid to finish your exam that fast. He didn't even look at it. Just said that out in front of everybody. And when I was a kid, honestly, I was so bold as a kid that, you really just couldn't faze me. But I went and I sat back down, and then, I kid you not, 5 minutes later, probably 2 minutes later, my aunt walked into the classroom. I grabbed my exam, slammed it on his desk, and I was like, here goes my test. I'm not stupid. You didn't even check my grades. I was like, don't you disrespect me like that, right? I was 9 years old. And then my aunt was just like, what's going on? And then we left the classroom. And that never stopped. Honestly, he ended up losing his job because of like abuse. He was physically abusive and verbally abusive to students, right? So obviously he lost his job. But that never stopped. I grew up, I played football for University of Utah. And I've been an athlete my entire life. But since I've been an athlete, people have always told me that, hey, because I'm athletic or I look a certain way, I'm not intelligent. And I never believed them. But I knew because of how I looked and how people saw me, they weren't going to see me as an engineer. They weren't going to have to see me as anything that involved using my mind. So in college, people actually read my name as Darron Brown. And I used to take as many classes as I could online because I knew that they would grade Darron differently than they would grade Darron. It's just the reality. Anyways, Fast forward to now, I'm a software engineer. I can play the guitar. I'm well read, and actually have a business. You know, I'm enjoying my life right now. And I know plenty of people, man, who before I even I was in the position I am right now. They told me because of the way I look or how I am, like, oh, it's gonna be so much harder for you, yada yada yada. And I make more money than all of them, man. And none of them are my friends anymore. And people, what it is that people don't like it when their beliefs are challenged. Whether you speak out openly against their beliefs or they witness something that gets different than what they believe. Because if you're basically rejecting another person's belief, you're telling them that they're wrong. Their self-identity is incorrect. And people don't like that. It's their beliefs. It can be religious beliefs, it can be political beliefs, it can be life beliefs around anything, relationships, whatever. Once you go against a person's beliefs verbally, or if your actions, if your life is just different than what they're saying, they're going to say that, oh, you're an outlier, or they'll just ignore you, or they get pissed off. So I have a question for you. I mean, how easy is it for you to learn some different skills? How much time do you put into learning a skill? Some of those people that I mentioned that have 4.0s, 3.5s, when it came to actually sitting down for a long period of time and actually doing something, they couldn't do it. I gave the example of I've had friends who could party all night, come to class the next day, read the book an hour before the actual class started and get an A on a quiz. You see, that takes no time. To actually learn how to play an instrument, to actually become a software engineer, it's repetition. It takes hours. It's pattern recognition. A lot of people who are used to things coming easy, regardless of what strength you have, they're not willing to put in the work. And that's why when people get into the real world, when they have to work on their relationships, or they have to build a specific skill in a certain area, or anything that takes a long period of time, that takes some kind of self-work, those people don't grow. And I may be offending you, or I may be saying something that you're really feeling right now, but it's the truth. Everything takes time. And when you put in the time in that specific area, it's not that you not only get good at that specific skill, you start to change as a person. The way you think, the way you see the world starts to change because you developed a new habit. So how are your habits? Do you have power, positive habits, or do you have self-destructive, negative habits? So to sum things up, I honestly believe in my heart, if you have a passion for anything, you can do it. We're no different from each other. Some of us may be taller, some of us may be in better shape, some of us may have been, blessed in any kind of other way. But if you put the time into something, especially software engineering, which this is a channel, so focus on software engineering. If you put the time into becoming a software engineer, you can definitely do it. If you're familiar, if you can do like puzzles, regular board puzzles, that's just a matter of taking pieces and putting those pieces together, finding those pieces and putting it together until you have a complete picture. That's basically what software engineering is. You're taking different components and you're putting those components together to build a visual, stimulating application. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you're feeling this, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.